Studio Pubco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson. He's Barry Trammell. It's time for our weekly 5 and 5 segment. And Barry, don't cry. We know you're looking like you might, but
I'm not crying because Brent Venables is leaving. Although I love Brent Venables to death, I got the pink eye. Who knew anybody got pink eye
yeah,
anymore?
I know. His eye is pinker than my dress. All right, let's start with Brent Venables. Let's start right here, Barry. 5 subjects, 5 minutes. Is Brent Venables leaving OU a good thing?
I think it's a good thing for a couple of elements. I think it's a good thing for Brent's career. I think it's a good thing for OU football.
Okay.
I don't know if it's good for Brent personally or his family. That's for him to decide.
Yeah.
It's good for Brent professionally, though, because he was demoted. His status, his profile took a hit with Mike Stoops coming back. I think at a place like Clemson, he can restore his reputation, get back in the running for a head coaching job. I think it's a good thing for OU because this was obviously going to be a morale issue. It's obviously going to be a conflict. No matter what the Stoops brothers wanted to say, no matter what they wanted to believe, there's no way Brent Venables could take this demotion easily.
He called plays by himself for the last, 6, 7, almost 8 years, I guess. It's hard to think that he was going to take this and just be like, oh, okay, that's whatever. So yeah, I'm not sure Clemson is the primrose path necessarily. Our man Travis Haney wrote about that a little bit earlier this week. The fact that they've had some turnover and some things that had Clemson not had a little bit of a surge this year, Dabo Swinney probably would have been gone, Barry. So this is not necessarily a perfect situation. But it's Brent Venables' own defense, and he's got a chance to now, sort of resurrect his career and prove just how good he is. And Barry, I think he's a good football coach. I think he's a good defensive coach. I think he's going to show it at Clemson.
There's no doubt that he's a good coach. There's no doubt that he produced good defenses at OU, and all the people who just eat up with yardage and statistical rankings, frankly, don't understand the way college football has changed.
All right. What about this, Barry? What should OSU do with Joe DeForest's open spot? They've got a spot on their coaching staff now. What do the Cowboys do with that?
I would go to your local church and light a candle and get on my knees and pray. Because Joe D was so varied and valuable in the things he did. He could do a lot of different things. Primarily his recruiting contacts in Houston.
That's
just
absolutely
massive.
True.
They're at North Shore and all the other places in Greater Houston. They're going to miss that. But he was a special teams whiz, a demon with those special teams. For 11 years, really produced good kickers, good return teams, good coverage. They're going to miss Joe D in both of those. They can find somebody to help coach the DBs. That's no big deal. I don't think those other two things, they're really going to miss Joe. I don't know that you can find the combo, one guy, to do both those great things.
Absolutely not. There is no Joe DeForest replacement out there because I don't think there's anybody that does what Joe DeForest came to do for the Cowboys and does it at that level. I think they should take that associate head coach position, give that title to somebody like Joe Wickline. He's stayed in Stillwater even though he's had other offers elsewhere. As far as the special teams go, Mike Gundy has talked about taking that over, Barry. It's been so good for them. They need to keep that a focus. Those kickers have been great. Punters have been great. The return game has been pretty solid. They need to continue that. But the recruiting thing, Boone Pickens has talked about this, keeping the staff together for a lot of reasons, but primary among those is recruiting, not having to reintroduce coaches and recruits to coaches all the time that are recruiting them. And now you've got a big area, Houston, without that main recruiter. That, to me, Barry, is the biggest loss when you're talking about Joe DeForest.
Houston is so important to OSU. Go to a hobby airport, get off the plane, walk through the terminal. There's the big sign that says Oklahoma State University.
It's big. All right. How about this one, Barry? Is the Thunder the best team in the NBA? We might have put this question in the queue before they lost to the Wizards, but let's talk about it. Where do the Thunder rank in terms of the NBA's best teams?
Well, I will say this. Despite the most embarrassing loss in Oklahoma City's NBA history, that Wednesday night fiasco to the Wizards, I think the Thunder's still the best team in the West. I think there's more reason to believe the Thunder will win the West than any other team. I don't see any juggernauts in the West. No way is the Thunder better than the Bulls. No way is the Thunder better than the Heat. So I still like the Thunder right now. Early season returns. I think the Thunder's in the driver's seat for the West. I think they would be a long shot for the NBA. For the NBA championship.
Yeah, and it's hard to project them to win the whole thing just because it's such a big goal, and you're still talking about a young team. Obviously, they learned a lot last year in the playoffs. They got that seasoning that they need, but still. It's hard to think, could they sustain through the West when you might have to play a series against the Mavs and a series against the Spurs? And you look at the teams that they would potentially have to play against to get to the finals, it's going to be a tough road. Whereas in the East, maybe a little bit easier those first 2 rounds for a team like the Bulls or the Heat. That could take a toll. But I do think they're in the conversation. Definitely in the top 5, maybe in the top 3. And on some nights, I think they could make the argument as the best team in the NBA.
I want to see the Thunder bring focus every night. Sometimes your shots don't fall. Sometimes you don't get good bounces. But I want to see you get the focus every night.
Didn't have it against the Wizards, that's for sure. All right, Barry, something fun. Golden Globes were last week, and I know you watched.
Don't miss them.
No way he even knew that they were on, folks. All right, what about this question, though? What's the last movie you went to see?
Just a few weeks ago, I went to the big theater there in Moore and watched the second installment of the OU football trilogy, the Wilkinson years. So it was a fabulous movie.
Does that count?
I don't know.
Does that
I'm
count?
sure it doesn't in your eyes. Not
the
by
Golden
your
Globes?
standards.
I don't know.
Well, let me tell you what, it was better than anything the Golden Globes is trotting out. If you want to know the last time I went to see something Hollywood put out, it's been several years. I don't. It may have been that Star Wars prequel for all I know.
Wow.
I don't go to the movies. Maybe it's just me, but $6 popcorn and $5 root beers just don't do much for me. So I'll stick with Turner classic movies and AMC and watch something that stood the test of time.
Well, okay, I can live with that. I went to the movies around the holidays, saw Hugo in 3D.
Hugo, Oklahoma. I went and saw Durant the other night.
Not Hugo, Oklahoma. It was a good family flick in 3D. I got to tell you, it's pretty cool. If you haven't,
Did you wear the glasses?
Yeah. If you go to a movie sometime soon, which I'm not suspecting you will, pick a 3D movie. It's kind of fun.
I don't want to wear funny-looking glasses. Although I don't want to have pink eye. Maybe I need to with pink eye.
With those eyes, it would maybe be an improvement. All right, last subject on our 5 and 5, Barry. Are Travis Ford and the Cowboys in trouble?
Do you mean they're broke down on the side of the road with a flat tire? What do you mean?
Well,
Are they going to make the NCAA tournament? No.
Probably
not. Does that mean they're in trouble? If that means they're in trouble, then yes. They're not going to the NCAA tournament. They're not going to make a run at the Big 12. I don't think they can go to Kansas City and even threaten a deep run into the Big 12 final.
Can they win a game in Kansas City in the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, sure. And
okay.
Probably will, I would guess, because I think they're going to finish in the bottom 4. But it's a disappointing year, no doubt about it. Down to 8 scholarship players, not a well put together team. I think Travis Ford is under the gun. He's not going to get fired, but I think he's under the gun to show people, hey, I know what I'm doing in maintaining this program. I can put together a good roster and put together a representative basketball team. Right now, they're not doing that. If the question is he in trouble with the OSU fan base? The answer is absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Not going to get fired because of the length of the contract, but clearly these teams last year, this year were supposed to be more Travis Ford's teams, and we haven't seen the promises of that run and gun style, that up tempo, and winning basketball. That was the thing that as you cycled through and saw more of Travis Ford's players coming in, that they would start to look more like his teams at UMass, that sort of thing, that got to the tournament, that caused teams fits. Right now, the most dependable guy on Travis Ford's roster is Keaton Page, a guy that he did not originally recruit. To me, Barry, that's an issue. If you're not going to go get guys that you can build around and that'll make your team better, I think a lot of people are asking questions right now, and rightfully so. I think there is trouble. It's not going to cost Travis Ford his job, but I do think there is trouble in Stillwater with the Cowboy basketball team. That's it for 5 and 5. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.